To start preparing for your lead lab, first open up the AO Google document folder and select the lead lab tracker. Once you have found which lead lab you are listed under, note the date. You should begin planning your lead lab at least 1 month prior from the time listed. After identifying your lead lab, refer to the section entitled Notes. This will provide you an overview of what the Operations Group Commander would like your lead lab to generally look like. Once you have read over the overview, refer to the various training objectives listed. Once you have identified the objectives, go ahead and look them up in the T508. This can also be found in the AO Google document folder. Take a few minutes and ensure that you thoroughly understand the requirements for each of the training objectives, as well as the recommended manner of instruction listed. Once you have a good idea of what your lead lab should entail, assign cadets to spearhead the various stations. Return to the lead lab tracker and refer again to the Notes section and locate the POC group number listed. This number will indicate which POC group has been assigned to facilitate training for your lead lab. Once you have the number, refer to the POC group document in the AO folder. Locate the correct group and select cadets to run the various stations in your lead lab. Although you do not have to use all the cadets available in your group, feel free to use as many or as few as you deem necessary. For each station, ensure that there is at least one cadet to lead the station, 2 or more assistants, and 1 or 2 POC evaluators. Note when selecting station leaders, take into account the various skill sets of each cadet as well as their availability. Once you've selected cadets to run your stations, take time to meet with them in order to work out the details of how the station will run. The T508 should dominate this portion of the preparation. In addition to providing you with the requirements for completing the training objectives, the T508 also provides talking papers, ideas, and strategies for how to instruct the wing on a particular objective. After meeting with your station leaders, you may request a talking paper from them prior to your lead lab. First, locate the Operations Order template. Rename the document OpOrd Lead Lab, the number of the lead lab, the day, and then the month. The date in the upper right-hand corner should be the date you drafted the operations order, while the date on the subject line should be the Sunday before your lead lab, and the date directly below should be the actual date for your lead lab. When filling out the timeline for the first page of the OpOrd, ensure that you allow cadets enough time to transit if necessary. When the wing divides to go to their respective stations, list the POC station first, followed by FTP activity, and finally IMT stations. When writing the objectives for the GMC, list only the objectives that appear under your lead lab in the lead lab tracker. Under the POC column, unless otherwise directed by the Operations Group Commander, put in Objective 30 in the row corresponding with the POC station, and Objective 28 in the corresponding rows for any FTP and IMT stations. For the PT section, refer to the PT schedule in the AO folder. Locate the week of your lead lab and write in the exercises listed for the respective cells. For the UOD section, unless otherwise instructed, leave it as ABU, short sleeve blues, business casual for AES and lead lab. With PTU, black or blue shorts, solid gray or black t-shirts for PT. If the Operations Group Commander wants an alternative uniform sequence, it'll be indicated in the Notes section of the lead lab tracker. Under Safety Considerations, contact the safety officer to get the required time for the PT belt wear. Once the safety officer has responded with the appropriate times, insert these into your operation order. If your activities will be conducted outdoors, indicate an alternative location to conduct training in the event of inclement weather. Finally, ensure the date listed in the authorization line is the execution date for your lead lab. First, locate the Frago template. Rename the document Frago Lead Lab, the number of the lead lab, the date, and followed by the month. To begin writing, fill out the header with the appropriate lead lab number and date. Additionally, your name should be listed as Cadet, your rank, followed by your last name. The timeline should be the same as the OpOrd, with the time, activity, and location going in the first 3 columns. Note, the activities should have the same names as the activities listed in the operations orders. In the right-hand columns, an X should be placed where appropriate in order to indicate which flights will be participating in the respective training activities. Note, only GMC flights are listed. POC activities do not receive any X. Under Stations, list the various station activities in chronological order. Under the Objective column, the same objectives listed on their operations order should be inserted next to their respective training activity. Under the Description column, the activity should have the same information as listed in the above timeline. The Reference column should indicate the pertinent section of the T508 that this station will be covering. The Year column should be comprised of those year groups that are being instructed. Finally, under the Station Leader column, first name listed should be the name of the station leader, followed by the POC assistants and POC evaluators. Under the equipment cell, list all equipment that will be used during the lead lab. Under the detailed plan section, ensure that you write out the details of your lead lab in short sentences or bullet statements. Note the hot wash should always be listed 15 minutes after the end of the lead lab. Finally, ensure that the notes at the bottom of the page are accurate to the location, stop-start time, and the EOD for your lead lab. In the AO folder, the file AO Wisdom contains notes from the past AOs with advice and lessons learned. Following your lead lab, feel free to contribute with your own comments to assist future AOs. Before submitting your Frago and operations order, look to double-check the following. Ensure the times are consistent between the detailed plans, the Frago timeline, and the operations order timeline. Your capitalization is correct and consistent. The bold lettering is consistent. All cells have their words centered, and all dates are correct.